This is really nice. Like I don't have to hold anything. I can just sit here and relax.
It's like a legit
This is
podcast
amazing.
now.
We've got
We got our
mics.
feet up on the desk.
The last podcast, I'm like holding. I didn't know where to put my hands.
I know. So if you didn't see the last podcast, we officially have like a real studio now. Nikki from the tackle store kind of got everything set up for us, and we didn't have these boom arms, but I went on Amazon, ordered these boom arms, got them set up today, and now like we don't have to hold anything.
Are we able to go live in the store yet?
I don't know how to do it.
You know what we've got to do?
That's a Corey problem.
You know what we've got to do? We were told to go live on our Facebook.
That's right.
Pages.
I forgot I told somebody we would do that.
Hold on. Nikki says we're
good.
You
can see both of us?
Nikki says we're good. All right, sweet.
Well, we're live, and we officially have like a legit studio.
This is amazing.
If you missed our last podcast, our podcast booth in the store is officially set up.
Mm-hmm.
We now have like these boom things that hold the mics and look nice and professional.
Yeah.
That one over there was moving by itself.
What is going on?
We got people crawling around. Our production crew trying to get everything set up nice for you.
So the last podcast, I had to like hold something the whole time, and it was so annoying.
Now you're like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I got so much free hands.
It was ridiculous, but this is really nice.
I know.
So,
it turned out awesome.
Yeah.
All we need, we have two. What do you call them? Canisters? What? Decanters.
Decanters. Yeah.
If you see a bun that was in the bottom of the screen, that's Nikki crawling around, trying to get the. We got a camera here and a phone here. We're live.
We are live, and it's been an interesting week.
Yes, it has.
And if you're wondering where Bama Beach Bum is.
He's somewhere in South Florida hiding from a hurricane.
Literally thought that it would be a good idea to go to South Florida the week of a hurricane.
Yeah, we got hurricane.
I don't know how to pronounce it either. A lot of people have been asking. They've been about like, are you guys going to be okay? I heard you got a hurricane coming. Well, it's going way east of here.
Yeah.
And so anytime we're technically on, I think, the good side of the hurricane.
Yep. You want to be on the west side. That's what gets the least of it.
So we're going to be fine. I do think that it's going to cause some damage down in the Tampa area for sure.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a little north of Tampa, kind of like the Big Bend area, maybe a little east of Apalachicola, somewhere through there maybe. And they're predicting Category 3, maybe even a 4. And if it's a 4...
and we know all about that. So if you're down in that area, we understand. It's gonna be tough. But
absolutely.
We went through that. The last time we went through it was in 2020. Was Hurricane Sally.
Yes.
And that was did you have a YouTube channel then?
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, barely, but I did, yeah.
Okay.
And I wasn't like hardcore about it yet and super consistent, so I basically took like 3 weeks off of posting.
I remember it was the most stressed out I've ever been because me and Matt were working a lot together then, Bama Beach Bum. And my channel, I had just gone full time. And so I had to create content. And I remember every entrance to the water in our whole area in like 100-mile area was shut off to the water. Like you couldn't get to the water.
Right.
And so even like a week after the hurricane, when everything was like settled, obviously it caused a lot of damage. We were fortunate enough to be fine, but I was like looking for areas to just get to the water to see what it looked like so I could update everybody on my channel, and I couldn't even do that because everything was closed off. So I went like 2 weeks without posting a video.
You didn't post at all?
I ended up posting a Hurricane Sally like aftermath.
Yeah.
But
I think Matt kind of did the same thing.
Did.
He had some friends that he helped out, and so he kind of videoed the whole like cleanup process and stuff like that. But.
Yeah, he did, and it was so stressful because if you know anything about me, Matt, and Brad and how we run our channels is we try to post once every 3 days. And if we don't, like, it starts to stress us out because that's how we built our channel, being consistent. And that's how we've stayed in the algorithm and built this loyal audience. And so that was like super stressful time for me.
Yeah. And when I was doing that, I was still working construction. And so the guy I work for, of course, wanted to take on all this hurricane work because it's good money for him.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were working 7 days a week, like ripping out. We're cutting like 4 foot up on
Mm-hmm.
drywall, basically just demoing people's houses.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't even have time to fish, even if I wanted to, because we were just working.
Well,
our
that
butts
was
off,
it.
but-
Yeah, we ended up just helping everybody and like getting everybody back to normal, and just it was a crazy time. So.
Yeah, as bad as hurricanes are and the destruction they can cause, it is cool to see like communities come together and people actually help each other, because the world is so negative most of the time.
Oh, for sure.
And then just like neighbors helping anybody, like doesn't care. Everybody just comes together and just tries to get it done.
Yeah.
And, so there's a lot of good stuff that you can see that
Absolutely, and we saw that during Sally. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody helped out everybody to get our community back up and running super quick. So, but I will say this: fishing before a hurricane and sometimes even during a hurricane is really good.
Yeah, as long as you're not right in the middle of it.
Yeah, as
Like,
long as
don't go do some sketchy
no,
stuff.
But if you're on the outskirts and it's not like bad weather, the pressure gets these fish fired up, and
we've already started to see a little bit of that
Mm-hmm.
today and yesterday. I went out this morning, and where I was fishing, like mangrove snapper were just stacked up thick, like real thick.
Yeah.
And water was already starting to rush in the inlets here. Sean, the Lawless Tide, went out yesterday. You talked to him.
Yeah, so if you are going to fish like during a hurricane, and when I say during a hurricane, I mean when if you are way away from like the middle of the storm, because it affects when these storms get in the Gulf, it affects the whole Gulf. And so we're a long way from the storm, but we're still getting slight hurricane conditions. We're getting
Right.
some wind, we're getting the storm surge. And so it can be really good fishing around passes, jetties, anywhere, any inlets can be really good. Anywhere where there's a lot of bait fish stacked up, I've always seen to be solid. Me and you had one of the best mornings that
was
we've had.
insane.
We had a tropical storm come through. Again, I'm not saying go fish in a tropical storm, only if it's safe conditions, but we had a tropical storm come through, and we went fishing at this local spot that's usually not even very good, and we smashed the fish.
It was
every cast.
It was crazy.
Yeah, every cast. So it can. That's one upside to a hurricane if you're not like right in the middle of it.
And because this year, like we haven't even had a storm or like hardly anything, barely even thunderstorms here this year.
Yeah.
It's like it's been dry. We didn't have rain. I don't know the exact time, but it feels like 2 months, 6 weeks since we've even had rain.
Yeah.
So we finally got some rain today. And like right now, I just looked up the radar. That hurricane is basically straight west of Miami. So that's how far south it is right now. It's down close to Miami. And it is already blowing like 20, 25 off the beach and getting pretty rough.
Crazy.
So you don't have to be super close to really get those effects, like Brant was saying, to be able to get, like it starts getting these fish fired up, and it's literally in Miami right now. So
I know. I had a good morning. I just posted the video on my channel, but yesterday I fished Pickens Pier, and it was the very first time on my channel that I have ever made a video at Pickens Pier. Yeah. And that is, you have to understand, Pickens Pier is one of the most touristy places in Pensacola.
And if you're not familiar with it, it's basically the size of this room.
It's not very big.
It's a really small pier, but it's a really good pier. And so it doesn't take very many people to fill it up. So it is tough to go out and film and make a video.
It's very tough to make a video there, but there weren't many people there, and I ended up limiting out on mangroves pretty quick. So it was a good, and actually,
what is the limit in Florida?
5 per person.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up helping another guy catch most of his limit too.
Nice.
So like they were biting pretty good.
How big was the biggest one you caught?
13. I mean, they weren't big, but they were like decent. I did see a 19-incher get caught, and then
That's
I saw
insane.
some other like 15, 16s, but I, for some reason, never got the big ones to bite, but they were all keepers. So.
Yeah. Did you get them on L-Wise or you have shrimp?
Elwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
L-Wise has seemed to be the ticket.
This time of year, man,
Yeah.
Elwise are the go-to for sure.
I caught some today, and all I had was shrimp. I lost my little net. So all I have is my 12-foot net, and I'm not about to throw.
You mean
on
like you have a 12-foot cast net?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
And I have a 6-footer, or it might even be 5-foot, and I lost it. I don't know where it is. And I don't want to throw a 12-foot net on L-wise because I will literally have thousands, and I'll just be sitting there picking them out.
I did that yesterday. Okay, so I was I got this 12-foot net, and I'm used to throwing a 10-foot net or an 8-foot net, and so this 12-footer is super heavy.
You know, mine might be 10 actually.
Yeah. Well, this 12-footer is on another level. Like when you go up from 10 to 12, it's super heavy, and that's all I had because my little net got hung in the rocks, and so I'm out there on Pickens Pier, and I've got my 12-foot net, and I ran out of bait, and I'm like, I've got to throw this 12-foot net off the pier to catch more bait. But I was slightly embarrassed because I've only thrown that 12-foot net a couple times. I was like, I am going to look like a moron trying to throw this thing. But I ended up making like a perfect spread off the pier for some reason, and I caught like 10,000.
I bet that thing lit up like a Christmas tree.
It was crazy. But I ended
How long
up...
did it take? Did they get stuck? Or
No,
they
because
fall out
I have,
mesh?
yeah, my mesh is perfect for them. But I ended up using them for chum, and so I started chumming those L-Ys off the pier and getting those snappers up into
Got
a
'em
feeding
fired
frenzy. That's how you catch those mangroves, is
Yeah.
getting them fired up like that. So.
This second spot I went to this morning, like they were literally everywhere. The second I would toss in, like someone would go eat my shrimp, and they were literally trying to eat my weight out of Carolina.
Really?
They were trying to eat the weight.
Good ones?
It was insane, yes.
Really?
But there was a lot of small ones too, so I could not. Like I literally would just like dip the shrimp in the water, and it'd just be at the surface, and they would be like 20 of them come up trying to eat it off the surface.
Oh, I got
It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Like we could have done a Clickbaiters cane pole video, and it would have been pretty fun.
That would be fun. Speaking of that, we are. I had a bunch of questions written down that you guys have asked us, but it's on my phone, and we're live on Facebook over there, so I can't really get to the questions.
Dang.
But I remember some of them, and one of them was about the clickbaiters. It was, are you guys ever going to post another clickbaiters video?
That's a good question.
And that is a good question.
I don't even know the answer.
I don't either. But here's what I will say. We have a ton going on right now. We are like with the store, our videos, the podcast, and it just we may just have to do away with the clickbaiters. I don't know. It's hard to do everything. There was a time in our career when doing the clickbaiter page was a lot of fun, and it was a great way to meet other influencers and stuff. But right now, it's like we are so focused on building the store, building brands,
right,
creating content for our channels, doing this podcast, that it's just been put on the back burner.
Yeah. I think once we get to the point that we can have an editor to help with our own personal stuff as well as the podcast, if we have somebody that can help with the clickbaiters, then I think we would have the time. But you got to find the time to make the videos, but then also somebody has to have the time to edit and post and do all that. Like
this and this is just like a little bit of the schedule. Like this morning, we had a 1 o'clock podcast, which got pushed to 2 because like we're so crammed. I had to get up at 6 a.m., go to Pickens Pier, get a thumbnail for this video because I didn't get a good enough thumbnail, come back, edit my video, do my clean and cook portion of the video. Then I had meetings like for our e-commerce and different stuff, like our tournament that we're putting on, which we'll talk about here in a minute. And so I'm having meetings about all this stuff. And so it's just like, the time editing a clickbaiters video is not in the cards at the moment.
Right. We need a production team. We really do need. We could use like 2 or 3 people to just help us with everything. There's just so much going on and so much editing and videoing. And
I agree.
A lot of stuff. Which we do have somebody. We got JD that's going to help us.
I'm actually excited about that. We made a clickbaiters style video the other day that's going to go on our Beach Bum Outdoors pages. We made that with a a professional editor, and so we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see what
Do
happens.
we have
We
it
haven't
back
seen
yet?
it. We haven't got it back yet. No.
Should be soon.
Yeah. So
Interested to see that. Should be pretty funny.
yeah. Yeah. Another one of the questions was, and this kind of falls under the same category, is when you guys are out fishing, who is manning the store? And I get this question a lot.
Right.
We all do, and it's. I'll let Brad handle that one. You can take that one.
Yeah, I mean, when this whole thing came together, and we were even talking about opening the store, the the plan, the goal, all of this was built around like our videos, and so none of this can continue, and none of this could have even happened without us creating content, making videos.
Sure.
And so before we even opened, before we even really started the process, we built a team around us, and so we have a whole team of operators as well as a bunch of awesome employees that there's never really a time that any of the three of us like actually have to work the store.
Well, the business plan was never for us to work the store.
Our job is to continue
Is
to
media.
market this and
Yeah.
to make videos. And so it actually hurts the store if one of us was to be in here working the
Yeah.
register or something. Our time is way more valuable spent creating content, trying to help grow this brand. And so, like I said, there's never really a time that we're actually on schedule or have a shift.
No,
or work.
we don't
We
work the
try to
store.
spend time in here and like hang out and meet people, but I don't ever have to. I don't even have a number to log into the cash register.
I don't know how to ring someone up.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I was in here and I was standing near the cash register and nobody was there, and somebody came up with like they were purchasing like some tackle, and they looked at me like I was just refusing to check them out, and I was like, "Oh man, my bad." I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing," and I had to like go get somebody else
Yeah.
because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, so it's don't worry about us and our time. Like we got it kind of sort of figured out. We got people running the store.
The
so.
business plan was to build a team because this store is not all that we're doing. We have so many other things in the works, some of which we can talk about, some which we cannot talk about. And so this is just one of many entrepreneurial type ventures that we have going moving forward. So
For sure.
yeah,
It's been fun, and like obviously anybody we run into always asks like, how's the store going, how this and that. Like the store's going good. It's been fun, and it's been such a learning experience. Like even though we have a team and we're not having to deal with so much of the day-to-day operations, like we are still learning a lot of that stuff that like I would have never known any of this. None of us came from retail or had any idea how to run this stuff. And it's like Buddy and Nikki, they're right out there stocking shelves and doing all kinds of stuff. They're our operators. They're the president and CEO, kind of running all that stuff. And we got JJ, who's our general manager, helping oversee that. We got store managers here. We got warehouse managers at the warehouse. So we literally have like a team from top to bottom.
Everything's covered, and so that they don't want us up here trying to do all this stuff. It would not run nearly as smooth.
No, not at all.
So we're good there. I think another question that we had was, I know there's two of them. One related to me and one related to you. I'll do the Bearded Brad one first.
All
I got this one the other day. Why do you think that Bearded Brad loses so many fish?
So this is funny. I get this comment a lot about like, dude, you lose more fish than like anybody. That's not the case. I leave in more lost fishes than a lot of people do.
I will agree
And
with Brad. It's in the editing.
It is in the editing. So like I could make myself look a little bit better if I cut some of that out. Now I'll give two reasons to that answer. So I do leave some of that in because anytime, like I've actually posted 2 videos on my channel where I didn't even catch fish. And a lot of people appreciate that. And because it's hard, like people that are coming down here on vacation that are still trying to learn to fish, and every time we post a video, we're just catching a bunch of fish and this and that. Like to the person that doesn't fully understand, it does look easy. It looks like it's just easy for us. And some days it is, but some days it's not. Some days it takes us 2 days to catch enough fish to make one video. Of course, we got to edit that down into like a 15, 20-minute video. And so by me leaving in some of those shots of like dang, these fish keep getting off, or I'm breaking off, or this and that. Like, I think it does show some of the other viewers that like I'm not better than y'all. Like I'm the exact
I
same. I'm in the
agree.
same situation.
Yeah.
Y'all lose fish, I lose fish. Like we're not just all perfect like Brandon Beecher.
I lost 2 fish in my video today.
but also I do leave some of that in there just to help with some time and stuff as well. I've started to experiment with some longer videos. And so by leaving in some of that and showing kind of the full day helps give me a little bit more time in my videos.
And I can
as well.
assure you that if you fish enough, you're going to lose plenty of fish. Like even no matter what you say in the comment section,
Right.
you're going to lose people. Like if you fish, you're going to lose fish. It's just part of the game. But I will say that you tend to leave like all the flaws in your video, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So it is funny.
I'll work on that. I'll
You
cut
don't
out,
have
make
to.
myself look a little better.
No, I think it's great.
Because I do
really
like
do.
almost every video that I do leave some of that in. Like I get the comments and it's like people just making fun of me and stuff.
I think you should just start posting videos where all you do is lose fish the whole video and you don't even catch anything.
That should just be our Clickbaiters videos.
I know.
What was the question you got about
Okay,
you?
so the question that I had written down that I got to I think it was yesterday was why do you get so excited over every little fish that you catch? And so I actually have a legit answer to that. Okay, so sure, like I've caught a lot of these fish you're seeing in my video over and over again, but I want like someone who is living in middle part of America to appreciate what we're doing down here. And so I don't want to just act like, maybe catching a Spanish mackerel to me isn't the coolest thing ever, but it might be to a father and son sitting in Tennessee that's never caught a Spanish mackerel. And so I want them to feel the high energy and, like feel like we're appreciating the fish that they may have gotten excited over. Mm-hmm. So if I sit there and say, oh, this is lame, caught another Spanish mackerel, darn, or caught a stupid bonita, like I hear a lot of YouTubers do, well, there may have been a 12-year-old kid in the middle part of the country that was vacationing to our area this year that caught a bonita, and he's telling all his friends about, and he's super excited about.
Right.
And he doesn't want to hear me talking bad about a fish that he is extremely excited about. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And so, also, I feel like we're grateful to have the opportunity to be able to do what we do and fish every day for a living. And so when I go out there and catch anything, I want to sound grateful, and because there's a lot of people that don't get to do that.
Right.
I'm not going to be negative towards anything except for maybe a hardhead catfish.
yeah. It's hard to be excited about catching hardhead catfish, and even the tourists that come down are starting to understand the hardhead catfish, and they're not super excited about it either.
Yeah.
Now my 6-year-old, he'll still be excited to catch anything. But
yeah, you got any more questions?
Yeah, I found some. So when me and Matt first started doing this podcast, we talked about if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, you can rate and leave a review. And if you left a 5-star review, we'd read them. I do not remember where we stopped reading them, but we do have 2 that were fairly recently. So we got one from Social Gal 5. She said, my husband and I discovered you guys on YouTube, and now I listen to your podcast on my daily commutes between home, work, and law school. Your podcast feels like few friends hanging out. Thanks for letting us be a part of it. We're coming to Navarre in November and can't wait to visit Beach Bum Outdoors. Awesome.
That's a great review.
We will see you in November. And then somebody else, Walton D. Height. Walton D. Height 69 is his username. He says you guys inspire me a lot, really. I reached out to Brad just to write a message, not expecting a reply, and he replied within a few hours. Can't wait to see you guys accomplish here in the next few years. We appreciate it, man, and you are pretty lucky if I replied in the first couple hours.
You are one of the lucky ones.
I'm pretty bad about responding to messages. And I don't even open them very often. And that sounds bad, and I don't mean that as like I'm trying to ignore you or I don't appreciate y'all or don't care, because I do. But we get a lot of messages, most of which are either one, they're spam, and it's like, hey man, send me your rod, and it's like some dude in another country, and it's like a scam thing, or it's like, hey man, send me exactly where you were fishing, like some of that stuff.
Or it's I want to go fishing with you, which we can't do those
Right.
either because it's like you can we get so many of them. It's like you're not going to be able to
Yeah.
like do it with everybody. So let's just
Yeah.
you know.
And again, not, I mean, we greatly appreciate everybody that listens and watches and all the stuff, but like the people that message like want us to come fishing on their boats, like think of that the opposite way around for you. Like you can't just go fish on a
No, well,
random
it's
person's boat.
also yeah. I mean, there's the kind of like unknown factor when like we get a lot of questions or like, hey, I've got a boat, you want to come fishing with me free of charge? Well, I like I'm kind of leery as to who like this boat like just some what if some random person what if he's a
Right.
serial killer
Right.
like you never know I'm
And
not
I'm sure like obviously most of these people are probably legit, everything would be
yeah.
fine. But again, would you go fishing on a random person's
Or
boat
would
that
you
you
let your
do not
kid
know
go
at all?
fishing
Yeah.
on a random person's boat that you don't know at all, you
Or go
know?
stay at somebody's giant house.
Somebody invited us the other day. They're like, "Hey, do you want to come stay at our house? I live alone." And I'm like, I mean,
When I first started
not really.
when I first started reading the
Can
message,
can I get a hotel?
when I first started reading the message, I was like, "Oh, cool, dude's got like a vacation home. He's gonna let us stay there, or whatever." I was like, "I'm down to go stay at his house."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I live by myself," and then I was like, "Oh,
So
we're
you
all
want us
staying
to?
together."
Yeah. Anyways, it's cool. We appreciate it.
Yes, we
Like
greatly appreciate all
we're
those
not. We're
offers.
just joking around. We greatly appreciate everybody that reaches out to us, and we do try to include subscribers as much as we possibly can.
Absolutely.
But when you're talking about getting 100 of these messages a week, it's very difficult to include everybody.
Yeah,
That's all we're saying. So we're doing our best.
faux show.
Yep. Another. Do you have anything else? Because I
No,
got.
that was the last two
Okay.
recent ones.
Another question that I got today that we can touch on is like fall is approaching. What should we be targeting in your area if we're coming down on vacation?
Yeah. So I mean, around here, once kind of like October starts rolling in, we start getting a lot of bull reds on the beach down in Fort Morgan. So I'll be doing some of that. Pompano starts showing up once the water starts cooling down again. So we'll be doing a lot of beach fishing for
Mm-hmm.
pompano. The whiting bite's been kind of dead, but it should start picking
Yeah.
up again. And then as we kind of move like from fall and start getting even cooler into the winter months, then all the bait, all the trout, redfish start moving back in the creeks. So we start doing some kayak fishing back in the creeks and stuff like that. I still like I've only lived down here like 4.5 years, so I don't have nearly the experience. So I'm still trying to figure out all those different patterns and stuff. So you can probably have a
Yeah.
little more insight
By
on.
the way, I'm pretty sure this mic was blocking my face the whole time, but maybe we'll see. It's all
all right.
good. But so here's the thing: we put out a newsletter yesterday, I believe. If you're not subscribed to the newsletter, do so. We give out some really good info pertaining to the area.
How can they subscribe to the newsletter? Because I don't know the answer to this.
Yeah, we'll link it in our description.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or if they can also sign up through the website beachbumoutdoors.com.
They can.
There's
Yeah,
probably somewhere
they
there.
can. So, one of the pieces to the newsletter yesterday were my 3 go-to lures, or some of my go-to lures for the fall. All right, and one of those that I want to touch on is a Rapala X-Wrap long cast, and the reason why is because our bay during September and October. All the menhaden in this area are pushing out from these bayous, and big jacks and redfish are in the bay right now ambushing these menhaden. And so maybe you found something better, but I think a Rapala X-Wrap long cast is the best lure to throw at schooling giant jacks and redfish.
Mm-hmm.
It is just you're not going to lose the fish. It's durable. You can make long casts with it. It looks like a menhaden in the water. Everything about it works great. So if you are, you may not even be targeting these jacks and reds, but just have some of these lures with you
Right.
when you're anywhere, even land-based or boat fishing, because they can pop up at any time chasing these menhaden.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people like throwing big swim baits and stuff, but the good thing about the egg trap, like you said, is durable. So having a hard plastic opposed to a soft plastic, if you end up pulling the hook or you catch one, they're still blowing up, you can use that same bait over and over and over. Soft plastic, like if you're throwing a 5-inch NLB in and you get waxed by a big jack or a bull red, you're probably only getting one fish out of that.
And the jacks don't eat them as good. The jacks,
I agree with that.
The jacks eat Rapala X traps better than they eat NLBNs.
Definitely agree with that.
And so I would definitely have those. Another thing I would have with you, and I've made some videos around this recently, is something that looks like an LY. This time of year through October, we have acres of LY in our bay.
They are thick out there.
And so these redfish, trout, flounder, and mangrove snap. What is it?
Sean just texted and said you have a booger in your left nostril.
Me?
Me.
Oh, you do?
I think he's lying.
Oh.
Thanks, Sean.
That's funny. Oops,
maybe
it's not
look.
me.
It's not me.
So I would definitely carry something that mimics the greenies. And my favorite is the 17 MR suspending Miridine. I like the chartreuse.
Yep.
And the trout love it, like hammer that lure, as well as redfish and Spanish and everything else.
I haven't done any trout fishing in a minute. I may have to go do that here soon.
I caught my first one on my channel in like months the other day.
Yeah. I saw that video up under the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this at the beginning of the podcast, but this hurricane's coming, and it's supposed to hit tomorrow, and so it's going to be even rougher, and that's when even more stuff should get pushed around these jays and inlets, as you mentioned. So I think we're going to go out in the morning, and hopefully the trout will be on fire.
Which brings me to my third lure choice to have this time of year, which I'll probably be throwing tomorrow, is any sort of like a white paddle tail or white soft plastic. White paddle tails work great in the fall for redfish and flounder and trout.
Yeah, that Slam Shady or the NLBN's typically what I'm throwing.
Or I'll throw a white gulp shrimp sometimes. You cannot go wrong with any of them.
Yeah, I think if you give Brant a white gulp shrimp, he could catch just about any fish.
I truly believe that.
Like if you could only have one lure for the rest of your life, I bet you would pick a 3-inch white gulp shrimp.
Possibly, I could survive. Like I'm not going to go hungry.
I mean, you catch trout, redfish,
flounder, tarpon, snook. Yeah, just about everything. I've caught Spanish.
Yeah, you could probably catch
bluefish.
pompano.
I have caught pompano on them. I've caught a pompano on them in a video while I was redfishing. Yeah.
So I mean,
I've caught black drum on them.
You could catch a jack on it.
Yeah, I caught in the Keys. I was only catching jacks on them.
So literally everything we ever fished for, you caught on a white 3-inch gulps.
I was catching. And we'll link.
How are you not sponsored by Berkeley?
I don't know, but I caught a yellow jack on it too.
That's right. Yeah,
great to eat. But you know what was funny? Okay, when I was a guide, and we would get these tarpon in the bay in September and October. The big tarpon would get in Pensacola Bay chasing these menhaden with the jacks and with the redfish.
I've heard of people catching them up under 3 miles.
Yeah. So they're very difficult to get to bite. You can obviously get them to bite a live menhaden if you can keep it past the jacks and sharks. But we used to mark these tarpon on our sonar, and we would drop 4-inch white gulps down and jig them on the bottom, and these tarpon would pick them up off the bottom. And that was one of the best methods to catch these bay tarpon. Dang. Yeah. And that's how we would hook them on our charters.
That's pretty impressive.
Yep. The old white gulp, man. I got a lot of. I've won tournaments with it. I've got so much confidence in that.
Probably caught more fish on that lure than any other lure.
And if not white, I'll use nuclear chicken.
Is that like a green, I guess?
Green, red. Green and red nuclear chicken is great too. Yeah.
Chartreuse.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So that's my go-to during the fall.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's we talked about calling Matt.
Yeah, let's call
him and,
Bama a beach bum and see. He's trapped right now in a hurricane, so let's make sure he's okay.
We're gonna ask him first what his favorite lure for fall fishing is. See what he has to say.
Okay. I bet I can probably guess it.
Me too.
Hello.
What's happening?
Not much. Y'all podcasting?
We are live.
You're live on
Live.
Facebook, and we're actually filming.
This is
Oh,
hey, for those of you on
all right.
Facebook, this is Bama Beach Bum that we have on the phone right
And
now.
here's his phone number right here. Y'all zoom in, check out his phone
Y'all
number.
give him a call.
Settle down. Settle down.
We were just talking about transitioning from summer into fall and kind of the best lures to throw and stuff. So we're gonna ask you what your favorite lure for fall.
I was
fishing
going to try
is.
to guess it first.
For the fall?
Yeah.
Let's see.
White Slam Shady.
Well, if I'm beach fishing, I'm chasing redfish. I'm chasing pompano again. Dang. I like going to the point, just like fishing for jacks, throwing the popper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
beach
one.
fish for the bull reds because they start schooling up a lot in the fall and they'll swing in and get close. So I mean that's a fun thing to do.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
How's the weather down there?
Yeah, the wind just started picking up like 30 minutes ago. It's not blowing too hard. It was probably blowing about 15 right now.
And
I
you
just stepped outside.
you're on the East Coast?
Well, I'm in Orlando.
Okay,
right
Orlando.
Now. Yeah, we're in Orlando. I was gonna be coming back. I would have been back tonight. That was my original plan, but just looking at all the information, didn't want to get stuck in all the evacuations and trying to deal with that mess getting back home today. So
Does it seem like a lot of people have come to Orlando that were evacuating?
I don't know. I mean, we're kind of hanging close to where we're staying, so I haven't gotten out and about.
Not
I'm
really
not sure.
seeing.
We did go ahead and fill up with gas yesterday, both vehicles, because
That was smart.
That's gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah, it's gonna get hammered. So I'm not really excited about coming back. Period, because I don't know what it's gonna look like with a major hurricane hitting this part of Florida.
Right.
Up so
And
many
that's
people.
the hurricane's supposed to go a little bit north of you, is that right? Or is it gonna go right over top of you?
It's going north of us. Like we got the rain bands and watching it. Like we got probably another hour before those first rain bands start hitting us here. And even in Orlando, we're supposed to get tropical storm force winds, possibly hurricane strength winds.
Dang.
Even here. So yeah, I mean we'll be fine. No big deal. We just didn't know about trying to get back because like all of the routes that we would have to take to get home are like evacuation routes. So
Right,
we
right.
didn't want to deal with that mess.
So
Absolutely.
there's not going to be a What's Up Wednesday. For those of you on Facebook who are planning on coming to Matt's What's Up Wednesday talk at the store, they're obviously staying in Orlando.
I thought you said you were gonna fill in for him, Brant.
No, I can't do it this Wednesday.
Well, and also, unfortunately, the weather after Wednesday up there, like, obviously will be fine, but
Mhm.
I don't know how bad the surf's going to get. It might get pretty dirtied up.
Yeah.
And
They're
might be
calling
pretty
for like
chum.
9-footers tomorrow.
Oh,
Here
yeah,
in our
yeah.
in our
Here,
area,
yeah.
9
Yeah.
foot seas
It's
tomorrow.
going to suck. Yeah.
Let's take
That's when we need to break out the Clickbaiters video. Me and Brant should go surf fishing tomorrow morning.
that
Do
would
it,
be
man.
funny.
The weather will be great. Just bad surf.
Right. Should be interesting. But so you've been fishing in South Florida the past few days. Have you had any luck? Where have you been fishing down there?
Yeah, it's been pretty tough. So I hit 3 different inlets. I went to Sebastian, Fort Pierce, which I've never been there before. That was new for me. And I also went back to Jupiter Inlet, which is where we all fished the last time we were down here.
Mm-hmm.
And the water down here is very dirty. I don't know why. It's not like they've gotten a lot of rain down here. Maybe somebody that is local would understand why the water's so dirty, but you can't see anything.
Dang.
And there's no bait anywhere. Like last time we were here, if y'all remember, the Elwha were just
Oh,
they're all
yeah.
over the
Everywhere,
beach.
yeah.
That's
They're
hard to
all in the
believe.
inlet. Yeah, you can't find a bait anywhere. Like I even went out on the beach yesterday after I fished the inlet, and I didn't see any bait schools or any bait or anything on the beaches. So fishing was really tough. I did fish a couple of days still. Lots of mangroves and schoolmaster snapper.
Nice.
Nice. I love schoolmasters, dude. They're like one of my favorite fish.
They're beautiful. They're so pretty.
They're pretty good to
but
eat
they're not-
too.
Are they? I've never eaten one.
Yeah, we ate one down in the Keys.
Are they regulated?
10 inches.
10 inches.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Did
But
you?
plenty of that. I only saw the whole time I fished the last 2 days, and I fished for several hours the last 2 days. And I've seen 2 snook. That's it.
Man,
Jeez.
that's wild.
That
Was
is
the
very
water
interesting.
moving at Jupiter Inlet like it was last time?
Oh, yeah. The tide swings were great. Water movement was good. Just dirty and no bait.
That
At
is
all.
weird.
Yeah. So fishing's been a little tough, but still been catching some stuff. Just not exactly what I would like to be catching. Of course, when I come down here,
Sure.
I want to, be going after those snook.
Right.
And they have seen some people catching snook on the beach because the water was really dirty at Sebastian on the beaches around there, around Melbourne, and then Fort Pierce, which is not too far south. But when I went further south to Jupiter, the water wasn't dirty, but it was like that milky color, which I think is pretty normal
Right.
for that area. It wasn't clear. And I have seen people catching snook, so I was going to go fish the beach, but of course, nobody had any croakers. And I didn't know, you can catch your own bait at the beach, but I wasn't seeing like any small baits or anything. And I didn't know how difficult it'd be to catch croakers or whiting off the beach. I didn't want to spend a lot of time doing that. Anyway, it was just kind of a tough trip all around to target those snook.
Brutal.
Man, that sounds brutal.
Well,
All right.
we'll have another trip down there soon enough, and hopefully be better. We got the Mullet Run coming up soon.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah. And I was hoping, because before the Mullet Run, they talk about, I don't know what kind of minnows they are, but the
Yeah, like
minnows
the
that
glass
only
minnow
come
run or
through.
something. Yeah.
And I watched the Joey Antonelli video.
I saw that too. Yeah.
And you see like tarpon and snook were all eating the minnows, and I was like, oh, sweet, maybe that'll be going on at the beach. So I went and walked a couple of beaches looking for some of that action, but the minnows weren't around the areas that I was in the days I was there.
Dang.
So I don't know when that happens, but that looked pretty sweet.
Yeah, that looked real cool.
So anyway, I don't know what I'm doing down here. I'm just winging it and sucking at it.
I hear you.
So apparently we caught it just perfect last time we were there is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I had to. I'm curious how long that lasted because that was pretty insane, especially considering what I saw when I went back yesterday. Like, completely different experience.
Wow.
Felt like being home, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, how's fishing been there?
Well, you're missing a hot mangrove bite here.
Mangrove Snapper is about the only thing biting right now.
Well, that's what I'm catching down here. So I drove 9 hours to come catch the same thing.
Heck yeah.
And we're getting good keepers here this week, though. I will say that.
What are y'all using? Shrimp or minnows, or what are y'all using?
Shrimp and LY.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty sweet. Brad, you found a cool spot. You took the boat to that island. That was a pretty sweet video.
Yeah, that was fun. We had gone out there with the family, just trying to find somewhere. The beaches were packed that one Saturday. We found this one backside of an island and saw those jetties. I was like, I'm definitely going back there to fish, and it ended up being a pretty cool spot.
Yeah, that was real cool.
Well, just to let you guys know, I'm still getting my workouts in, even though I'm out of town. I'm working out every day. So
Good
I hope
deal.
you guys are still sticking with your workout programs and still getting jacked.
Well, I'm doing 75 hard, so
Brad's definitely
I
sticking with it.
can't give up yet.
I've been working out every day.
Have you still not had a drink?
No.
What day are you on?
Sunday was day 21, so day 23.
Nice. I'm still looking for a day where I don't have a drink.
Right.
That's more me too.
I know my brother's probably going to be listening to this podcast later. I doubt he's watching live, but today's his birthday. I was on the phone with him, and we are talking about 75 hard and stuff. And he was like, yeah, I've been getting all my free birthday gifts from all the apps I have, all the restaurants. He's like, I got a free taco from Taco Bell. I got a free cookie from Zaxby's. Got free wings from Buffalo Wild Wings. And I was like, damn, dude. And then I was like, sounds like you need to do 75 hard. He was like, I don't even know if I could do 70 or 10 hard. And I was like, dude, if I can go 3 weeks without drinking, you can go 3 weeks without eating a bunch of fast food. He's like, yeah, you're probably right.
I'm proud of you, Brad.
Appreciate it.
I've been in that cycle, where I would eat Taco Bell and McDonald's and just all the garbage.
Oh yeah.
I think we all have. It's
Absolutely. I love McDonald's.
Oh,
I would
God.
eat it every day if it wasn't terrible.
So
Don't
I
like
feel the
McDonald's.
same way about McDonald's. A lot of people think it's nasty. I understand.
I love it.
Okay, hold on. It is nasty quality food.
Yeah, yeah.
But the taste of it is pretty dang good.
Dude, McDonald's 10-piece chicken nuggets with honey mustard and a large fry, crispy fresh out the fryer with some salt. Oh my gosh.
I don't eat.
You've definitely been doing some 75.
Day 76, that's what I'm eating.
I don't eat McDonald's. Like, I probably haven't had McDonald's in a year, but I like the taste of it.
Yeah, it is very good. And I don't eat it that often. I used to eat it like literally every day.
I mean, come on. Like a fast food, like a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is money.
Oh yeah.
Even though that's
So
not
good.
healthy either, but it's good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it tastes
guess.
good. It's not
Yeah.
good for you. It tastes good. It's the Lord's food.
The Lord's chicken. That's why Matt gets the grilled chicken with no sauce and fruit cup.
I get grilled chicken and the fruit cup for the side. It's super low calorie. I'm sure it still has a lot of sugar and preservatives and all
Probably.
that stuff, which is not great for you, but regardless, it's still low calorie. Has a good protein.
Their Oreo milkshakes are off the chain, dude.
Dude, I love their cookie.
The cookies and cream. The cookies and
is
cream.
so good.
Yeah. Man.
I'm gonna have like 10,000 calories my first day off of 75 hard.
Oh man.
Just kidding. I was like everything you watch about 75 hard. Y'all asked. Dang it. Andy Frizzello. Y'all asked me last podcast what the guy's name was. His name's Andy
That's the
Frizzello.
guy.
He's the one that created 75 hard. And he was like, the one thing that pisses me off so much is people do 75 hard, and on day 76 they go back and eat the same shit and drink the same shit. And I'm like, dang it, that's what I was thinking about doing.
You caught me.
Oh man.
But it's
All
brutal,
right.
but it definitely pays off.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about any of those programs is just creating the habits and sticking with them.
For
and
sure.
going for the future, not just putting that end goal in mind, but changing your lifestyle. People don't understand how important and how much your life will change in all aspects of life when you dial in your health. Like, it's just so key to be healthy, be fit, eat right, eat whole foods like chicken, eggs, and fruits, and things that don't have 75 different ingredients in it. It's just that. Like, it's just the one thing, and you focus on eating that stuff. It makes a huge difference in how you feel and just what you think and everything.
Absolutely.
So I encourage everyone at this point, just try to focus on your health.
Yeah.
It's important.
And I was thinking about all that last night, actually. And I was like, I'm not gonna obviously live 75 hard every day of my life. I will still have a drink, and I will still have fast food at some point, probably, or fried chicken, whatever it may be. But I can't go back to what I was doing, or this whole 75 hard would have been pointless. So I can't. You got to get the discipline, and you got to just use it as a complete reset and changing your habits and trying to eat better, drink less, all that stuff.
And if y'all want to book Bama Beach Bum as your own personal trainer, we will leave his info in the description below.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Let's go.
We're gonna start a training program, open a gym.
All right.
Amazing.
Well, we're coming up on an hour.
Are we?
Yeah.
That was fast. 51 minutes.
Really? Y'all are at an hour already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, crushing it.
Been chit-chatting it up.
Yeah.
But
Very nice. Well, hey, thanks for giving me a call. I'll let
yeah,
you guys,
man.
Stay
Y'all-
safe,
y'all
man.
stay safe down there, and hopefully you can make it back sometime in the next day or two.
Yeah, we'll see you
Be
guys soon.
stuck down there for a week.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Later.
yeah, darn.
I know.
That's horrible.
Disney.
I have to stay on my vacation a week longer.
They'll probably just buy a house while they're down there.
All right, y'all have a good one, guys.
All right, see you,
ya.
man.
Bye.
Well,
You ready to
that
wrap
was
her up?
Yeah, that was a pretty good podcast.
That flowed. Yeah, wasn't bad.
No, not at all. This is the first time me and you have ever done a podcast.
It was,
by
man.
ourselves.
It was.
So it was
was
a good
fun.
time. We, if you are listening on Apple, don't forget to rate and review. Helps us out a lot if you leave a 5-star review. If you do, we'll try to read it on the podcast. Get back in the habit of that. We're gonna try to get in the habit of doing these weekly. So I know we kind of slacked off there for a little bit, but we're gonna have them uploading more often, more frequently. So make sure y'all subscribe to wherever you're watching or listening, and we really appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Catch you on the next
All
one.
right.
Peace.